So I hope you'll see big changes in a Shop Local campaign. The second issue is that business and small business plays an amazingly important employment role. Now, we all know that when 10 people turn up for an interview, you take the best candidate. So what I'm asking of you this year is consider taking someone who is a high needs and complex young individual and give them a start if I pay their salary, their insurance and their travel to get to work. That's right. So for work experience, I will pay their salary, their travel and all of their insurance. But it's still a massive favour from you to offer the startup, the on-cost, the supervision, all of that training. But in that month-long period, you can transform a life like no supervisor in the NGO sector can, because you're putting these young people shoulder to shoulder with other workers. I'm asking you to take one person, and I want 1,000 Redlands small businesses to open up those opportunities to young people. Now here's the rules, and you'll like them. Before a young person can come to you for work experience, they have to have done work for the dole in the public and NGO sector with 100% attendance, and they've got to be the top of their group. And second, they have to say, I would love nothing more than to work in your sector, and I want to get a job with that sector. And third, they're going to come with a group of others with similar passion, and you will interview them just like any other job application. And you'll take the person you want. If it doesn't work out for you, we terminate that arrangement immediately and give you a choice of someone else. But it's called unpaid work experience because the government is paying the wage. And I want 1,000 young Redlanders to have that opportunity. That's because we've got, self-evidently, 3,000 Redlanders who can't get a start in business or in government or any form of job between the age of 18 and 55. So the big change, and my final point, is that you're seeing increased requirements for earning or receiving a welfare payment. If you're under the age of 50 for the first time, job seekers must do something in return for the payments, either work, volunteering or work experience. So the last thing that we're doing, and it's only in Redlands, is we have set up work for the dole teams who for the first time in Australia's history can go out and work in a private property and do work under supervised care. So at the moment you can scrub graffiti off the wall at the train station under work for the dole. At the moment you can pull weeds. At the moment you can do work regenerating bushland. You can build a walkway in a public space. But in the end, there's a huge amount of need in low-income dwellings around Redlands where their homes are falling apart. And now you can take a work for the dole team and do a makeover. And that's 10 young job seekers with a paid supervisor. So I'm asking for two things. If you know high-need families who aren't in public housing, who need a hand around the house, we can bring a team in under the care of Volunteering Redlands and the local men's sheds. 6 of them are joining up to form a men's shed network of supervisors. But here's where you can also help. I'm looking for people who want to be a paid supervisor. These are part-time and retired people who have a handyman level understanding of tools and can supervise 10 people on a work site for sessions as short as 4 hours, as infrequently as once a month. Let's animate those people who currently aren't in the workforce and should be to be paid supervisors of work for the dole. It is my target to have 20 of these supervisors in Redlands by the end of the year, supervising 200 young people, and ultimately we'll have 100 teams around the Redlands picking up work that's needed most. Mostly people who simply, as they get older, more frail or on low incomes, can't look after their own dwellings. We'll start on the outside of homes, and if it works out, we might move inside. No, ma'am, we can't do your house. I know I'd love to, but you probably will not be eligible because you earn way too much money. But if you have a concession card, that'll be the criteria that you otherwise can't afford to have that work done any other way commercially. So we're not replacing commercial work with anything. We're doing work that was never going to happen in the first place. That's the criteria. So that's unpaid work experience in your small business. It's work for the dole for the first time in private property. And lastly, and it's not quite related to small business, is that there's now a major push to identify 0 to 5-year-old kids that are struggling in Redlands. So every general practice and every childcare centre is now working together to bring social workers, child psychologists and OTs into our childcare centres in Redlands to find these kids early and give them every help we can so that when they hit school, they're ready to go at prep. And that's not the first time we learn about a child that's had no stimulation at home. highly vulnerable kids in complex disadvantaged families. We need to find them at 18 months of age, not have teachers learning about them at prep. That's called the Imago project. So if you think about education as a spectrum, the bookends are 0 to 5s. We have to find these kids and do all we can. And then when they're transitioning in that awkward process into the workforce, more opportunities. The economy at the moment is just very precipitous. 4 months of consecutive falls in unemployment, record new listings of small business setting up. You're not yet necessarily feeling that change, but these are the green shoots of the economy, and I hope it is the antecedents of a stronger economy over the next few years from which we all benefit. Thank you very much.